Hola amigos, me llamo King Immortal. El video que saqué hace como 3 semanas de cómo jugar con ya estuvo muy bueno, a muchos de ustedes les gustó y recibí comentarios muy positivos sobre esa entrevista que le hice a Tetris-Gat. Así que ahora les traigo cómo jugar con Ossas. Este video también está muy bueno. El jugador que entrevisté se llama Slime. Él ha ganado la Arena League Super Temporada 1 y Super Temporada 2. Este jugador es buenísimo. Todos los tips que me dio sobre cómo jugar con Ossas son fabulosos. Lo apliqué obviamente en mi juego y automáticamente mejoré. Me di cuenta 100% porque ahora estaba pensando más sobre lo que hace un jugador profesional al jugar en competitivo y tal vez en casual. Así que miren todo el video, les va a fascinar la verdad. Este jugador da información muy buena. Si quieren que haga una entrevista a otro jugador que también es buenísimo, profesional, que hace ganar dinero por este juego, avísenme y lo hago. Tengo a Vincent y a Dick en la línea de entrevistas que voy a hacer en un futuro. Pero si quieren un video de otra cosa también avisen. En los comentarios también estará su YouTube de Slime y si no también su Discord. Así que lo pueden ver a él jugando en vivo para que vean qué tan bueno es este jugador. Y nos vemos en el próximo video, amigos y amigas. Gracias por siempre acompañarme en esta ruta mía. Vamos a darle, disfrútenlo. All right, Slime, can you briefly introduce yourself, man, and what's your gaming background? Like, how did you get into competitive gaming and your journey so far in this game, the 3 Arena?
Yeah, so I joined this game sometime around a year ago, around this time, and I just basically looked for clubs on the T3 Arena Discord, the official T3 Arena Discord. I found a club named I'm blanking on the name, New Generation, and I started playing with them, and that's how I got into tournaments and met some good players who eventually became my teammates and turning winners with me.
What's your gaming background before T3? Do you have any?
Oh, before T3, I was a console player on Overwatch for about 3-4 years. I don't know.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
so for those who may not be familiar, could you describe who Ossas is and what makes his character unique in the game?
So basically, Ossas is a very strong one-shot sniper. He has ability to fly away and smoke to protect himself from anybody who wants to charge at him. So he's a very strong character.
What would you say is the primary role of Ossas in the game, and how does this role contribute to the team's success?
I mean, like, I feel like his primary objective in the game is to lock down a line of sights. So anywhere your enemies would want to go, maybe to like control point or control the cart, any of that, Osas is really good at locking down those lines of sight. So they have to respect it and either hide behind walls, hide behind their tank, or else they're in danger of getting one shot.
That leads me to the next question. I like that you said you're putting the Ossas in danger of getting one shot. Like, how important is positioning with Ossas, would you say?
Osas, I feel like that's like 50% of how you play Osas. It's 50% getting into the good positions to get good shots off, good safe positions to get good shots off, and then the other 50% is like aim. Like you can get into those good positions, but if you don't have the aim to execute the enemy team, it's kind of unfortunate, honestly.
So I'm sure there's a lot of different maps and positions that you can get, or positions that you can get. But do you have any strategies that you usually use or employ to maintain the best position on any map or on a map?
I mean, general rule of thumb for Osas is you want to control high ground because high ground you typically have the most line of sight across like all the maps, like Brower's Dock, holding that bridge area, or the double windows, or the top of the stairs. Very strong. Like you could just have like sight over the entire map. Just having the high ground control is very important. Yeah.
So snipers, I would say, require pretty good coordination, right? How do you communicate when you're playing in competitive matches, scrims, tournaments, and whatnot? How do you coordinate with your teams while playing this character?
I mean, like, I feel like Osos or just snipers in general, somebody who like sits back and like has like a very good view of the entire map. They have like, I feel like they're in the position to like give out calls because like on the ground you can't really see as much as if you're up in high ground looking over the entire map. So if Osos sees like somebody flanking on the right, he can call it out to his team so they're aware of it. Or like if they see somebody out of position slightly, like in a corner, like hiding, he can call it out and then the team can dive on them and take them out and make the team fight easier for them.
Moving on to fights, since you mentioned that, do you know, or what are the main challenges that opponents, would you say, use against Ossas, and how would you counteract?
Well, some of the easiest things to do in general is hide from his line of sight. So hide behind walls, hide behind tank shields. Try to get an Ossas of your own. He can duel the Ossas, and it's like a 50-50 on whether like which Ossas kills. And or you can get an Aletta or like a Ya or a very strong flanker to actually dive on him. Another thing that Ossas struggles against is like double shield. So like if there's a really strong Ossas player, you can go like Jabali Fade or like Jabali Ruby, Fade Ruby, something along those lines. Because he has to like shoot through all of those shields, and then once he gets through all those shields, he has to deal with a beefy target that takes 2 headshots to kill instead of 1. So it's harder for him to deal with that.
That was pretty helpful. So you're saying that if you want to counterplay a good Ossas, double shield, and then just pretty much make Ossas have a hard time taking out the team, right?
Yeah, you basically want to smother him with flanks, an Ossas of your own, or like double shields, so he can't really be as effective as he usually would.
What do you do when there's an Ossas that's not so great, but they're still an Ossas nonetheless?
I mean, like for me, I play Ossas and Aletta, and if there's an Ossas that's not so great, I will still respect him because no matter how what the skill level is on Ossas, at the end of the day, he can still get a good shot off, a lucky shot, or like something like that, and he can one shot you. So it doesn't really. So I still respect it. I try to hide from other Ossas's as much as possible, and like unless I have smoke or like fly to catch them off guard or like have the element of surprise on. So I try to hide from the other Ossas's, pick off the rest of their team, and then look at the other Ossas when I have smoke or fly available.
And this is why you're playing Ossas yourself, right?
Yes, this is when I'm playing Ossas
Mhm.
myself, and then
Okay.
when I'm Aletta, I'll just try to dive him because he's an easier target for Aletta than like most characters.
Would you say there is more characters other than Alera and Ja that are good against Ossas to dive in?
To dive, Victor is a very strong pick because he has 2 dash that can like close the distance on Ossas. He has insane amount of health, insane damage output when he gets up close. So Victor for sure. A lot of characters are actually pretty good into him, like Judex, because she can blind him, and if the Osos can't see, he can't hit shots. She can right hand peek him. Hunter's pretty good. Like any character that's like mid to long range, that can right hand peek, just like kind of annoys Osos and like doesn't give space to really play.
Awesome, man. That leads me kind of to the next question. In a way, I was gonna ask you about if do you have any specific strategies or tactics that you use when you play with Ossas?
Against Osos or as Osos?
As
As Osos,
Mhm.
he's very versatile. You can like sit back, shoot at the enemy team. You can also like try to hit a flank because his escape options are so strong. So like hitting a flank and getting an off angle where the enemy isn't expecting you is definitely very strong because you don't have to deal with shields because usually the shields are facing forward, and if you're hitting from an off angle or hitting a flank with him, um you can just shoot past the shield or like shoot them behind the shields while your team hits them from the front.
Would you say that Ossas works best with the specific team comps, or against the specific team comp?
I would say Osas works best against like single shield comps or like single tank comps. A comp that isn't like very flanker heavy, because if they have like, let's say a Victor, Aletta, and Ya on the enemy team, or like a Victor, Aletta, or like something like that, like you're not gonna have a good time. They're gonna close the distance on you consistently. They're gonna take you out, and it's gonna be rough for you. So like anything that maybe like a poke composition, which like tries to hide behind shields and like and hit you from mid to long range, you probably have a good time against because you thrive in the long range. So and you can break shields pretty easily in this game with Osos when
You
they're
s-
single shield.
you said a poke composition.
Yes.
What is that?
It's like it's kind of like so there's like a couple compositions. There's like dive, which is what I explained about the Aletta, Ya, Victor dive when you're vulnerable, and poke is kind of like a more slowed down version where they kind of just sit back a little more. They try to like poke your team for damage, and then eventually like get one pick, and then they'll move forward, poke your team for damage, get another pick, and then like they're basically like a, I don't know how to explain it. Like they're just a unit that like pokes you from mid to long range.
Almost feels like you're talking about military tactics, even though I don't know anything about it. But that's how it sounds like. So what kind of training or kind of practice? What kind of practice do you do to maintain your rank with Ossas? That way you don't get cold feet and you just always are on top with the character.
I feel like definitely it's gonna sound weird, but shooting at your teammates before the rounds start actually kind of helps, because like if you try to do like aim labs or something, aim labs will kind of mess you up because aim labs doesn't have the aim assist strength that T3 does, and doesn't have your specific set sensitivity on aim labs like that you'd have on T3. So like I like practicing shooting at my teammates before the round starts, like preferably a moving teammate, you know, so I could like track them with my scope. So then when I'm like actually in game shooting at the enemy, it becomes like so much easier, because instead of doing it okay. So when you're shooting at the enemy in the actual game, you have aim assist to actually help you with it, and you're using your
What is aim lab?
oh, aim labs, it's a training service thing. It's an app you can download, which basically helps you train your aim. You basically get put in different scenarios where you try to track an robot that's like strafe, or like you can track these little circles on the wall and flick to them, like practice your aim and control.
That's pretty awesome. So for players who aspire to play Ossas competitive, what tips or advice would you give beginners looking to improve with this character?
See, I'm gonna have to think about this.
Take your time.
One of my tips is don't overthink your shots, because in this game, aim assist is very, very strong. So like the shots will kind of like come to you if you just have good crosshair placement. And crosshair placement is typically when you want to aim around head level, so you can get easier shots off. Because if you're aiming at their feet or like way up in the sky, you're gonna have to like do a very long flicking motion, compared to if you're aimed head level and they come into your crosshair, and aim assist helps you and drags your crosshair to them. It's already at their head, so all you have to do is release. You know,
That helps when you're in a higher position, correct?
it helps in any position. Just aiming head level, letting aim assist do its work, releasing when it's on their head. Getting used to shooting jumping enemies. So is another tip. Um, Jumping enemies, they're always gonna be in a fixed trajectory, unless it's a Letta, because then she has a little more uh option. She can like double jump or like blink after she jumps. So other than Aletta, most characters they're in a fixed trajectory when they jump, so they can't really save their head. You know,
I see.
so getting used to the jumping distance on where their head's gonna be at their peak of the jump, or at the end of their jump, or something. Just get used to the shooting people while jumping.
I see. So you're saying that so getting used to when they're jumping, no matter what the character is, other than maybe a Lera, that's you would say very important to practice when you're a beginner trying to play with the character Osas.
Yes.
So what is Osas playstyle?
Ossas' playstyle. I mean, like, there's generally two playstyles. It's actually it's generally at like top level, like at the level you'd see in tournament. Base typically the Ossas is just laid back up on a high ground spot, just trying to shoot at the squishies. Squishies are like targets that have like 5,600 HP to like 6,300 HP at max level. Um, he's usually trying to pick those off, and then once those are picked off, then he like helps with the tank. So that's generally his play style, just sitting back, shooting the squishies, killing them, letting his team advance forward.
Thank you for that. So leading on to that, do you have or do you remember of I mean, you might have a lot, but is there a memorable match that you where you used Osas effectively, and what were the factors that you used that contributed to that success in that match or those matches?
Actually, the first Arena League that came out, I don't know if this match was streamed or not, but it was the last point of Brower's Dog, and we were on defense, and we needed like to stop them like fast, because they were approaching the exit or the end point, and I ended up switching to Ossas, and I killed two of them. And this was a 3v3 turn. So I ended up killing two of them, and I think that was a very good memory because like it stopped their momentum, it stopped our bleeding from our bad defense, and we got control of the point again. And they didn't end up pushing it all the way. We ended up winning, and that was a pretty memorable moment.
Do you recall who you were playing again?
It was I think the name was Exclusive Eternal. It had Rinks, KD, and a third member.
Are there any common mistakes or misconceptions that you see other players making when using Ossas?
Common mistakes. I mean, a lot of Ossas's I've seen like play low ground a lot. Like instead of being on high ground, they choose to go low ground where they're easier to dive stuff. Um, I do see poor smoke usage and ability usage, where they'll just use it for no reason. Typically, I use it to either escape, reposition, or or if I'm feeling aggressive, I'll put down a smoke and then I'll play in the smoke on high ground, so so I can like shoot at the people on low ground easily without being without the worry of getting shot at as easily. So yeah, those are the things. Using ability usage is a big
Adding on to that one, you haven't mentioned super. Well, there's two of them. The
ultimate.
teleport, yeah, the ultimates. Say how. What do you think are maybe benefits, or when would you use those? There's the two of them. Although we can only use one right now.
Yeah. I won't talk about the teleport one because it hasn't been in the game for like a couple months. But the first one, the like beam that shoots out of Ossas's face. Typically I use it to punish out of position squishy players or like flankers who are trying to contest me. Or if I'm that's because I play on 10 ping in North America, but if I'm playing in like Europe or like some other server that isn't North America, I would use it to actually heal most times. Like if there's a freshly placed shield and I'm low, I just use it against the shield because the ultimate actually has a 22% life steal, I believe. So like all that damage you're doing to the shield gets regen to you, and it's pretty strong because now their shields are broken. I'm at full health, and I can shoot at the squishies so much easier because there's no shield, and I'm at full health, so it's like a win-win.
That's really great to know, man. That was interesting. That was yeah. I actually didn't know that was the case. I guess I need to read up on my on the character descriptions. So so maintaining a top ranking, maintaining that top yeah, ranking that you have, I'm assuming requires some type of mental resiliency. How do you stay focused, or how do you handle the pressure in the game during competitive matches? If any?
Typically, I kind of like analyze myself in game, if that makes sense. Like I'll realize that I've died to this same death a couple of times, and I'm like, okay, how do I prevent this? How do I put myself in a better position not to get killed by this in the future? And then like I kind of like think to myself, if anybody watching has ever watched my stream, sometimes you'll hear me talking to myself saying like, all right, this person keeps positioning here, and then I keep getting punished here, and then I think I can fix it by going up here instead, and then like I'll put that plan into action the next time. And that type of thinking, instead of like getting tilted, you can kind of like see where you can improve the next fight. Or maybe um if you don't want to think mid game, you can like watch your games back and then be like, oh, I could have played this better by being on this high ground, or I could have played this better by positioning where my healer can see me better or easier, or I could have positioned to rotate uh away from the flanker while she's pushing me, like that type of stuff.
You just said something interesting about the healers. How well does Osas play with the healers? What do you say, and which healers specifically, if any?
The Ossas Iris pair is very strong. um Iris can place a discord on a target, and Ossas does, I believe, 10,500 damage per headshot. So that's like almost enough to one shot all the tanks. A body shot does like 4,000 something damage, so it's almost enough to one shot a squishy as well. That's very strong. Ossas Neon is very strong because she could just teleport through walls, teleport from low ground to high ground, save you, give you the extra shield bump. Labula is a little harder, or actually it's kind of like middle, because usually Ossas is playing like far away from the team. So like Labula has a projectile heal, so by the time it gets to Ossas, he could have already moved, and then like Labula has to like lead his shots or tell his Ossas to stand still. But if his Ossas is standing still, then like the enemy team can shoot him very easily. But at the same time, Ossas is typically standing still when he's like aimed in and stuff. So it's like a 50-50. It's like a love-hate relationship with Labula and Ossas. Same with Chemist for the same reasons, projectile heal. Sindri, that matchup isn't very good because Sindri is usually with the rest of her team like up front, and Ossas is like all the way in the back, so he's not in range of her heal. And I think I covered all the healers there.
Yes, you did. And I want to follow up on something again that you said just now, and that is, when do you move around the map, or you choose to stay still while playing, and how does that maybe differ between maps and gameplay?
See, I typically like stay in the same spot on high ground, overlooking the point. So like if the point moves, I move with it and like get to a new spot to overlook the point, and that's with payload escort. And then I rotate when I see like a flanker trying to come from like my right side. I'll just rotate to the left and like potentially like hide behind my team, so I'm harder to kill by the flanker because my team is right there. I can drop to them. I can throw down smoke into them, and then hide from the flanker. Yeah, I basically just rotate with the point when it's escort. Try to play high ground and rotate away from flankers when I see them approaching me, and so I can get more shots off while they're approaching me at my new spot.
I see. Do you have any default spots that you always go to based on the maps available for tournament only maps?
Let's see. On Brower's Dock, I like playing the high ground of either just the high ground in all spots on Brower's Dock. You can basically see every point. Sometimes I do go for like a sort of flank play when on attack Brower's Dock near that swan, because you could just put down your smoke, shoot at the people potentially on the payload, and then you can fly back up to your spawn afterward. Or you can complete the flank and go all the way back up, or go all the way up to the bridge area. I'm not sure if Ecor City's on the map rotation pool in tournament. Giga Cave, I'm not much of a fan of Ossas on Giga Cave because it's like very closed in. You don't have many lines of sight to like lock down. That's for first point Giga Cave on defense. On attack, first point Giga Cave on defense, it's actually like pretty nice to get like one or two picks off the start. And then second point Giga Cave is very strong for Ossas. A lot of high ground you can play, a lot of line of sight you can lock down. A mental, it's like 50-50. Like their flanks can get to you very easily, but you can also like just fly across the map onto another mini health pack or like something like that. And because it's so close on a mental, your team can back you up pretty easily. But if the flanks are very good, like Victor Aletta, you're gonna have a very rough time. So I typically go on Aletta on that map.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you for that. Do you know if there is any specific online communities or resources that have been helpful in your journey as playing with Osas?
The exclusive server is pretty good. You can chat with top players. You potentially team up with them if they are willing to do so. The Eternal Unity server is also very good. More beginner friendly, because those are like the top teams. Eternal Unity and exclusive. More beginner friendly would be like Difference or the Goofy Goobers, or the Goobers rather, Discord, After Colts Discord. Those are more beginner friendly. Difference is sort of making its way up in the ranks, so I would say like Difference is like intermediate, and then After Cult and Goobers is more beginner friendly.
Thank you. And actually, I made a comment on my next question, which was, which is if you have any advice for those aspiring to reach the top. I'm sorry. If you have any advice for those aspiring to reach the top ranks in esports, like you have with Ossas.
I mean, just finding a good group of people to play and improve with. Like you can put in, let's say 100 hours of playtime in the game, but if you're not like seeking to like actively improve your positioning or your awareness or something like that, then it's not very helpful. I would say like just try to find people to improve with because it's easier to call out other people's mistakes than your own mistakes. So if you're playing with other people, you can call out that like you can call out their mistakes and they can call out your mistakes and then you guys can improve together.
Awesome, man. That's really good. Really good. I'm just going to ask you about some future goals now that you may have. Like, what are your future goals, and if you have any aspirations, a professional player into the arena?
See, my future goal. There's the Arena League. The third Arena League tournament coming up. I believe in October next month, and I'm trying to win that again with my team exclusive easy. That would be our three-peat, our third time winning that in a row, which would be pretty cool. Obviously winning the content creator tourney coming up, hosted by Prodigy Thrive. Yeah, I think that's my two goals coming up.
Nice, man. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience, especially those who are new to OSAS or competitive gaming in general?
Find people to play with. The game's a lot better when you have a solid group of players to play with. Uh, it becomes like more fun, in my opinion, and you improve faster because you have other people who want to improve with you.
And last thing before we end, where can people follow you or watch your gameplay to learn them all, to learn more about you, your strategies and techniques with OSAS and any other characters for that?
You can find me on YouTube at SlimeT3, and if you have any questions, my Discord DMs are open at flinched f all. I'm sorry, at flinched FLINCHED. And yeah,
Awesome, man. Thank you for that, Slime.
of course, thank you for
And that was the end of our small interview here about talking with Osas. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Slime, and thank you again for taking the time to join me in giving this spectacular discussion to our small audience. So thank you.
yeah, thank you for everything you've done. Your interview with T3 God was amazing. I hope this one turns out just as amazing. Thank you for hosting all those tournaments like back to back to back, like every week or two back then. And now the content creator tourney coming up now. I appreciate everything you've done. I'm glad I could give back to what you've given to the community.
Thank you so much, man. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye.